Oh shit.
Fuck the Oscars, you know? Fuck the Oscars! Fuck you!
The movies, the internet stuff is so violent. It's so incredible.
I see worried about it just because the consumption of these violent video games has been going up continuously since the early 90s, and yet youth violence has been
When
going
you look
down.
at juvenile crime statistics, which have gone down dramatically over the past 15 years, it really doesn't seem to bear what the American
You can pick up guns, knives. You can now choose to punch, kick, headbutt people, stab them.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another weekend. This is Tuned In Live podcast. We are live via on YouTube, Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to subscribe over there to our channel. We are also live on twitch.tv/arrow with a name, and also live on Facebook. So if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Twitter, be sure to leave comments, guys. Also, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please hit me up in the messages over on Twitter at Arrow with a Name, or just hit me up right here on Facebook or on YouTube, and I will send you the link to our Discord. And I'm joined by my co-host with the most, Empire. What's going on?
Yeah. What's going on, folks?
So it is the officially the very first weekend of October, and it's supposed to be starting out, pretty good, because I love October. I love the fall season. When everything starts cooling down and the air is very cool, it's very crisp, it's beautiful, and I just love fall, and especially when it kicks off with the Halloween season. Because Halloween is October 31st. And it was oh Christ, don't tell me you're breaking up on me again.
I'm breaking up on you guys.
Oh,
That's your shit. That ain't my shit.
Yeah. So before we kick off today's topic, which is games then and now, as you guys can see in the description, we would like to give our
We'd like to wish our condolences to the president out there.
Well, not condolences. He ain't dead, but
okay, you get my damn drift, Mr. President. We would like to wish you very well. All right, get better soon. Same with you, the first lady.
Yeah, because our president, commander in chief, Mr. Donald Trump, right now he is at was it Walter Reed, I think.
He's at Walter. He was at Walter Reed about 8:00 last night, Central Time, which would be about 9:00 Eastern Time, and that's actually in Bethesda, if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah. So
he's in Bethesda right now.
Yeah, him and his wife Melina.
He has a mild case of it. Yeah, it's a mild case of it. They didn't say it was severe, but he said he didn't show any of the symptoms, but he was kind of feeling like a little ill, a little bit, just a tiny bit, but he wasn't that big.
He's probably got the flu. That's all it is. He's probably got the flu.
I'm pretty sure. Half that shit's positive, false positives anyway.
Get well, Mr. President. They even said that they had oxygen on standby for him, but then he said,
"That man, you throw a brick in front of him, he'll shit fucking 3 times more bricks than that brick being thrown at his ass."
I mean, look at how many. Yeah, just look at how many heavy hits he's taken over the last 4 years from Democrats, from people who hate him for no reason. Like, they loathe him. And it's like, oh, you're all just jealous and pissed off because he's done a hell of a lot more within these 4 years than Obama did in 8 years.
Right.
So he's one of the best presidents out there that we've had in a long time. And of course, now, he's in the hospital. He's got a mild case of the corona, so they say. And you got people out there that are sending death threats and shit. It's like, I hope he dies. I hope well, karma's going to come back and bite you in the ass. As one person once said, when karma comes back and bites you in the ass, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Yes. That's like that. That's like in Beethoven, when whatchamacallit, the owner, Mr. Newton or whatever.
Yeah.
And he got bitten in the ass by Beethoven, or what was one of the bad guys, kidnapped the kids or whatever, and bit that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. I read about that, yeah. But hopefully you're doing pretty good out there, Mr. President. And we'll see. Like I said, they said that they want to put him on oxygen just in case, but he's not on oxygen right now unless absolutely necessary. Now, I was listening to my buddy Jeff who runs the Jeff Hagee show on YouTube, and he was talking yesterday while he was live, and he was like, you know what? I don't even really think he has it. I think it's just
I think it's a stunt.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is think about it this way. I mean, I know we're getting into politics. We're going to talk about politics, but we're just going to cover this just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But think about it for a second. How are you going to get a stimulus package out to the American people quicker?
Well, here's the thing with that, and we'll cover that next week. But just a
we'll
brief
cover
one.
that shit next week. Just a brief hit. Right now, they're in the negotiations. They're almost near completion of it. But the thing about it is, now the pressure's on the Republicans.
Well, here's
the thing about it.
Right after we were talking about it last week, and I read online, and it's all over, Pelosi's not going to put that STEM pack out there until after the elections because she doesn't want any chances of Trump winning. So we're not going to see that STEM pack till sometime after the election. So,
but it will be overwritten. All you got to do is sign an executive order.
Well, right now he's in a hospital. And
he can still sign an executive order.
Yeah, true. If they bring it in, yeah. So yeah, he's going to beat this. You know, him and Malia's going to beat this, just like everybody else in the United States has beaten this myth of a fucking virus. You know, it's a myth. That's all it is. It's a fucking myth. You know, the politicians, they want to push a vaccine out on everybody. You know, it's to me, we're all sheep. We are sheep to the system. When we wear a mask, we're sheep. When we bow down to a vaccine, we're sheep. That's all we are.
And, I tell you that right now.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Trump. Or he's got the virus. Okay, let's just say he does have the virus, and nobody else from Tuesday night. We're gonna cover this next week also with the debate because it was a shit show. But you would think that night everybody would have probably had it. If Trump and his wife Melania had it, and of course I think somebody else in his staff has it too. And then Biden said that he went and got tested and he tested negative. I'm like, no, I call bullshit because those tests take about anywhere 3 to 5 days to come back with the results. You can't just say you took a test and then the same day it said, oh, you tested negative. How come every single American who has taken this test had to wait 3 to 5 days to get results back, and then Biden, oh, I don't have it. I tested it for it, but I don't have. How do you know you don't have it, you fucking idiot? But anyway, we're going to cover all that next week, and it's going to be something else. So today, we're going to be talking about games, then versus now. And because there's a lot of stuff that you want to say, and there's quite a bit I want to say too about video games, especially like with some games that recently released.
Yes, I'm actually heard about a couple of them games. I'm not sure if you've watched some of the new trailers or not, or any of that, but I play this game called Mafia City, and everybody knows what it is. It's on a mobile device. You can get an Android or Apple. And the thing about it, man, is like me and my woman were talking about this the other day, or actually the day before.
Yeah.
He was talking about, the prices of these things. Like, when you first start off, like, there's prices from $4.99 to $100 or even more than that, depending upon how much you spend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we were going through the list of everything that, what's in these packages. And she brought up a good point that, she's like, Mike, I was like, have you even seen these packages? I was like, yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I was like, they're too damn ridiculous for my price range.
Yeah.
I was like, it's easy to fool a young kid because, hey, mommy and daddy, can I borrow your debit card, whatever, credit card or debit card, and get the biggest package you can get for $100 and fall right into that. And then you're like, oh crap, I don't got no more stuff.
Yeah.
And then here we get another $100, and then another $100, and then another $100. I mean, don't get me wrong. I spent a couple dollars on the game. I spent about probably roughly around $50.
That's how you get the customer.
Bad. Well, I mean, yes and no, but it's the low price ones. It's between the $5, the $10 one, and I just get it for the gold. I don't get it for the other stuff. I don't mean the other stuff. Of course, you attack enemies, you get stuff for resources. But it's the microtransactions that when they say, oh, well, we got this sale, it blasts in front of your face, and you're like,
That's the shit
Really?
that
All
kills.
all that shit for $100?
Exactly.
And I can just go buy gold and get the same damn thing and get double the gold for $100?
Exactly. That's how they get you with the microtransactions. Like earlier games like Candy Crush and shit. Candy Crush has.
Oh yeah, Candy Crush was a big one because everybody was into Candy Crush. You're like,
Oh my
holy
God.
Jesus. Like you get stuck on a level, you can easily spend an easy $50-$60 on that game. Like, okay, I'm gonna beat this level. I'm gonna beat it.
Exactly. Like
And it's like, hot damn.
I can't even tell you
Yeah.
how much I spent on that game 6-7 years ago. Just to I was up to like level 70 something, and the higher that you go, the more challenging they are, and each level gives you so many moves. But then you're like, okay, I want to beat the level, but how many times you're going to eventually beat the level when it's a strike of luck. That's all of those games are. The strike of luck.
Strike a luck, and if you're like down your last minute, they tell you, oh, 99 cents for this, 99 cents, 99 cents can add up to easy 20, 30, 40, 50
Yes,
bucks.
it can.
Easily.
Oh my God.
You're like, oh, damn.
I can't even remember. I can't even tell you how much I spent on that game.
There was a game I used to play. It was a drag racing game. I forgot what the hell it was called. I think it was CSR2 or CSR1. And I was in drag racing back in my old. I was like, heck yeah, man! I got a drag racing game here. I can just all these people online. I'll just drag race the shit out of them. So I got pissed off one time. I kept on losing. I've dropped $50 freaking dollars. I'll drop another 20. I'll drop another 30. I got the fastest damn Mustang on that game, and I'm like, holy crap, man! I dropped like $120 on a game, and I didn't even realize. I was like, I don't even play it no more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then on the PS4, it's even worse than it is on a freaking mic on a phone. Unless you don't got a PS4, then it's worse on your phone. But if you play like Star Trek Online and you need shit, we're talking, you need traits, you need a special console. You can drop. I shit you the hell now. I've dropped at least $5,000 on a game, just itself. Man, I dropped an extra 200 or about 160 about a couple weeks back, but that's the last of it. But
let's see, Lycan's here. Lycan said you won't see me paying for mobile games. Sadly, there's a good amount of us out there that do, for whatever reasons. I have to. Like, I could pull up. Let me see if I could open my phone. I could tell you like what kind of games I end up paying for. Like, let's say, all right, this is a game called
Candy Crush.
Well, Candy Crush was one of them, but I'm not going to pay for that shit again. I play it once in a while, but it's not an every time thing. There's this game called Bricks and Balls. That's
What's
usually,
that? I ain't even heard of that.
You start out like each level. You start out with let's say 50 balls, and you got bricks to break, and each brick has like 10 hits on them, and then you make a line, and then you shoot at these balls, and then you're supposed to eliminate all the blocks.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Pretty much like pinball almost, except you're knocking out the blocks.
It's not really like pinball. It's like those earlier games like Breakout or whatever for like the Atari 2600 and stuff. And the microtransactions on there, like you can buy them, but what I do, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's tedious, but I end up doing it anyway if I got a little free time. So if I need like an extra power up or something, they give you the in-game option to earn these things called red gems. And you can play ads to earn 10 gems or 20 gems. So every 24 hours, it cycles. So I can watch 10 ads that are like either 15 seconds or 30 seconds long. And then after each ad is finished, I can collect 10 or 20 gems per ad. And that adds up. So I've started doing it smartly now, where I'm at like level, I think like, what am I at? If I open it up here, it's gonna take a little bit. I think I'm like at level 70 something. All right, let's see, I'm at 186. So Jeez. 186, and I got 7,070 red gems built up from just doing the ad, just watching the ads alone. And each power-up that you have in the game, there's like 5 different power-ups, and you use 100 gems each if you need to. So I'm like, okay, I just build that up, because if I don't, I'm going to end up paying out $2, 99 cents, $1, $2, somewhere around then. You know, I'll do the ads for bits on Twitch. Yeah, that's another thing people do too. But games like that, you know, it's a grind. But that's one thing they want you to do with games like that. When it comes to a game that's free to download and play, and mostly it's on mobile devices, but it also hits consoles and some on PCs.
Especially Fortnite on consoles or PUBG.
Oh my god. Well, with games like those, now Fortnite, their battle royale is free.
Well, yeah, it's free to play. Don't get me wrong, but how they make their money is them little kiddies go in there and play. Oh, mommy, I want this gun. I want that gun, or that costume. Boom, easy, 40, 50, 60 bucks.
Well, that stuff right there is easily understandable to an extent. If it's cosmetic items, like I would sit there and tell my kids, I'm like, look, you get one guy, you're playing the game. What do you need money for? Well, I want to buy a skin for him. I want to look like Edgar Allan Poe. I want to look like Adolf Hitler. I don't give a shit, you know? But
anybody if it's Adolf Hitler is going to be the #1 enemy. I can tell that right now from any fucking game. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. But damn.
But yeah, it's like cosmetic items it's understandable when you're making purchases for that. Now, the biggest issue for a game when it came to cosmetics was Star Wars Battlefront 2, the remake, when that came out. People were pissed off because they basically had it set up as like a pay-to-win service when it came to the microtransactions.
And that's because of Star Trek Online. You know how that is. When you have Trekkies versus Star Wars fans, guess what? How are you going to rule?
Well, I don't think that was the case.
I think it is. I think it is because EA, you know, they started off at that new subscription bullshit. How else do you think they're going to get their money suckered in?
Nah, it wasn't that though. What it was, I think it was either EA or Disney. It was one of those two companies that implemented it. No, it was EA implemented it, and then since Disney owns Star Wars, Disney put an end to that. So there for a while, they suspended all microtransactions purchases within the game, the pay to win, because people were buying crates to get all this upgraded weapons and shit, you know, power ups and stuff that they can use in the game to win, which made it an unfair advantage to some. Yeah, it made it an unfair advantage to those who actually started playing it and wanted to grind the gameplay and all. Pay to win has always been around since online gaming has. Yeah, pretty much. It just evolved in a sense. It evolved into a worst way possible. Now, something like Fortnite, cosmetic stuff, which is like character skins, because that's all it is. It's character skins, weapon skins, emotes, like stupid little dances and shit like that. Like for me, the only thing that I really purchased on there was a battle pass recently. And I started playing Fortnite again because I sit at work, it gets boring, and a buddy of mine who lives in Canada, he got me into playing Fortnite because he has it on the Switch, and even though I have it on Xbox and PC, I had it downloaded on my phone. So I'm like, I'm not too good at Fortnite, but I'll go ahead and play with you. Now, the phone I have, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, it's one of the newer phones. Any phones that are like within the last 3 years, I think, 2-3 years that are newer, they have Bluetooth 5.0 implemented in it. And you can connect a Xbox One controller to it, and it'll read it. So I take a Xbox One controller with me at all times for that, and I'll sit there at work because it's mostly quiet overnight where I'm at. So I'll sit there and play Fortnite. So the first few games that we've played, I shit you not, and I've never done this on Fortnite, let alone like PUBG. I got 9 victories within a 4-hour period. 9 victories.
9 victories in a 4-hour period.
3 back-to-back. Then we lost 1. Then we got another 2 victories. Then we lost another 1 or 2. And then we got a couple more. And all. I'm like, God damn. we're doing pretty fucking good tonight. And I'm getting like all these fucking kills. Like the maximum number of kills I've gotten in a game of Fortnite was like 10 or 11.
You know how many max kills I've ever gotten on Fortnite?
What, the 0?
Don't laugh at this one. No, I got at least 2. All right, 2.
Oh, it's still something. I'd be lucky if I could make that in PUBG, you know?
All right.
But yeah, like playing Fortnite over and over again, like you rank up for like every challenge you do, kills you get, games you win, you earn a lot of XP, and that XP goes toward your battle pass. And battle passes open up emotes, skins, different.
That same thing as Call of Duty.
Yeah, so I'll be sitting there grinding the fuck out of it, and that's what I did. Like last night, I grinded to get Wolverine, which wasn't too hard because they say, okay, you go in there, you find Wolverine, he'll spawn in this area or that area, and you go in there, and I got like 3 or 4 guns, you know, maxed out, and they tell you, oh, recommended 4 people to take him out. And I'm like, yeah, I've done it twice. No, actually, I've done it 3 times. He's not that hard. Like, if you shoot him from afar and he'll start coming at you, just keep fucking pumping ammo into him. And when he comes up to you, all he does is slice and dice you. But all you got to do is just jump around, jump backwards and shoot him, and boom, he's dead. You know,
Shoot him in the head.
Exactly. That's what I go for. So I ended up shooting him down. I finally got the cosmetic skin for him. I got the Wolverine character. I got his claws. I got all this extra shit. But that's what I'll do. I'll grind it because that's the purpose of a game. Is you buy a game and you really want to put your money's worth into it. You want to grind it. You want to play it. But then there's kids out there that, like you were explaining with like Candy Crush and all, you got these packages for like $2. $5, $10, $100. Like, you can get all this, and then you can unlock all of this. Like, where's the fun of
but
that?
some of the stuff you don't really need.
Yeah,
Is the thing.
exactly.
Like, you know, okay, I understand. It's like they want you to start off at level. Well, I'm just a random guess. Okay, like on Mafia City, you start out like level 1, you work up the way to 5. After you get to 5, you start working your way up even more. And you got to grind. But for a person that don't want to do that, oh, well, here, I'm just going to go pay $100. You don't even know what the hell you're getting.
Yeah.
And you look at this stuff like, well, how am I going to use all this? You know, then goes your inventory and all that stuff. And you're like, dang.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Well, that's like...
And it's pretty sad that, you know, I mean, yeah, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But suckering people into microtransactions and just to spend $100 just because, you know, you want to give people shit, but, you know, that's freaking crazy as hell, you know, about freaking doing that kind of shit.
And that's how they make their money back on all that. They make their money back through microtransactions. You put a game like Fortnite out there, okay, the only way you pay for Fortnite is there's a campaign story to it. And I've played a little bit of it. It's interesting. I like it. Where the building concept of the game should take place. There should not be a building concept in the Battle Royale, but whatever, you know, people use it to fucking be dicks and all, but I've worked my way around that. I'm like, oh, you want to build 4 walls around you? Stick your head out. Let me see if you fucking live over me, you know?
All right.
You know, and you pay $60 when that game came out. And this is absolutely atrocious to me when Fortnite first came out. You had 3 bundles, and I shit you not, the game was $59.99 because you get the campaign. You get the campaign. Well, there's no DLC at the time for it. There's actually no DLC. It was the campaign and it was the Battle Royale. Now the Battle Royale, they had online separately in beta form for free to download if you just want to do the Battle Royale. But if you want the whole experience with the campaign and all, you'd have to buy the game for $60. Now, here's where it becomes atrocious. The next one up, which is $100, is 2 copies of the game. One for you and an extra key for a friend. And then there's a $150 bundle. Or it's not $140 or $150 bundle. You get the main game for yourself, and you get 2 keys. 2 keys for the game, which is you can give those keys to let's say I want, you want to play Fortnite. You don't care about the Battle Royale. And I buy the $150 version. I'm like, okay, here's a key for you. That key gives you access to the whole game, the campaign and the Battle Royale. So I give you a key and I give Lycan a key. Now, all three of us have a copy of the game for $150. So I'm like, what is the point in that? Why would you pay out $150 for 3 versions of the same fucking game just so you can have people play with you and enjoy the story mode, when if people want to play Fortnite, they're usually stuck on the multiplayer Battle Royale aspect.
Yeah, that's what most people go for nowadays is the multiplayer.
Yeah, and you can just get that for free. Now, you download that for free in order for them to keep up with the game and all the extra content they put in, because like every 6-7 months they change the map up, and people get pissed off because, oh, I can't log into Fortnite, they're doing something to the map. I'm like, yeah, they're changing it up, but you get that. But then when the microtransactions come in, you're like, okay, I can buy the battle pass, I can buy all this cosmetic shit, like I can buy a new skin for my gun, I can buy a new character, I can buy a new emote to do some stupid dance, and that's it. When all it is for me,
the happy trail dance.
Yeah. All it is for me is like, I'll just grind it. That's all I'll do. Like that's another thing when it comes to these battle passes for games like Call of Duty, for example. Oh my fucking God. When it comes to Call of Duty.
Well, here's the thing about Call of Duty. Because I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and that game's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about how I like what they're doing with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare right now is at least they're bringing out new maps. You're not paying for them. Unless you bought the regular basic pricing, and I guess pay a certain amount. But I paid, I think, $100 for mine. No, I didn't pay the
Lycan.
I paid
Lycan said I only play the free Warzone. I still haven't bought Modern Warfare. See, when it comes to Call of Duty, for me, I buy the whole game. I play Call of Duty since the very beginning, and I don't just do the multiplayer. I'll do the campaign. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy doing everything. Like, the campaign story is usually really good, and then there's the multiplayer. Now, the best thing about Modern Warfare is everything was free. I didn't need to buy a $100 version of the game. I bought the base game. All the DLC was free.
I think I bought the $80 version of it, but the thing about it is the battle passes you can buy for around $5-6. It really is not that bad, but grinding it all the way up to 100, it will take time. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker with that. If you want everything,
microtransactions on that too.
The microtransactions. Here's the kicker. You can either choose to grind to 100, which means you're going to have to put in hundreds of hours and get good, son. You have to get good, son, and rank that shit up. You got to grind that shit. Or for $100 more, you pay to unlock all 100 levels, and you get all these little cosmetics and shit. So every season, like, is it really worth it to pay $100 to unlock all these cosmetics for your character? Or would you just say fuck it and just grind the game? Like, that's all I've been doing. Like, I haven't played Call of Duty in like 3 or 4 months. If I get back on there, I'm just gonna grind. Yeah, y'all only grind until I get new guns. Exactly. That's the fun in it. Why would you want to pay out $100 more to have everything unlocked? Like, look at it back in the day.
See, back in the day, they had the thing on the first Call of Duty was the Prestige thing. And everybody hated that shit because you had to restart over again.
Well, Prestige didn't hit until the Black Ops series.
The Black Ops series. But the thing about it still, though, when you have Black Ops, the prestiging levels, you had to reset every freaking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody didn't want to do that. So this game now, the Modern Warfare, you don't even got to do that shit no more. Because now all you got to do is hit the 100 thing, and the max level gets 155. And once it resets the season, it just resets your level. It doesn't touch any of the guns, doesn't touch any of that shit.
Well, here's
which
the
is
thing.
actually pretty nice.
Here's the thing with Prestige, though. There were some people who like to do it. Like, yeah, it's a real grind and a pain in the ass because when you hit it, you lose everything. You got to reopen it. Now, they usually started giving you tokens where you can unlock certain perks or weapons that you want to keep for the next prestige level. Now, each prestige level, you end up getting like some special banner or something. You know, it's something special you work towards. And it's usually a grind for people, but people would end up doing it. Like, you would have somebody from day one, as soon as the game becomes available at midnight, they're playing the fuck out of it, and they're already prestige 1 by 5 or 6 a.m. They reset you at 55. No, not necessarily. Certain ones reset you at 55. Then you had like the Modern Warfare series that started you off at like, I think 65, 70, or 75.
No,
so it fluctuated.
No, it doesn't actually.
No, it was a base. That was the base for the originals.
When you play Modern Warfare in the beginning, the very beginning, you guys start off like 1 or whatever.
Well, you start off 1, yeah, but you prestige at certain levels.
When you hit 155, it'll knock you back down to 55, 56, depending upon how much of your rank that you have. Because it knocks me back down to 56 once you hit a certain level. And certain levels will knock you back down to 55. But
well, that's like just Modern Warfare. No, that's talking about Modern Warfare right now. Now, all right, going back. And I got a list of them right here. All right, let me see. Okay, like I was talking about the new one. Yeah, the new one. Yeah, that's the new one. If you get over 55, when they reset the season, it restarts you back at 55. Yeah, but talking about like going back to the older ones, like let's say, okay, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. The prestige level is 55. When you hit the 55. And you max out that experience and you hit prestige, it resets back to 1. So 55 is where you lose it. World at War, you prestige at 65. Modern Warfare 2, level 70. Black Ops was 50. Let's see.
Now, Black Ops was 55, I thought.
Nope, 50. That one was 50. Modern Warfare 3 was rank 80. Black Ops 2 was 55. Ghosts was 60. Ghost was 60. Advanced Warfare was 50. Black Ops 3, let's see, where's that at? It says it resets it, but there's no... Oh, 55. Black Ops 3 was 55. Infinite Warfare was 55. World War 2...
that's at
45. That was 45. Yeah, 45. That was the lowest one. And then that's all of it. This is the wiki page for Call of Duty.
About Black Ops 4.
There is no. Oh, wait a minute. Is there? Where is that at?
There is a Black Ops 4.
That's right. I forgot about that. Black Ops 4. Okay, Black Ops 4 is 55.
Yeah. See, the worst one I played out of all of them, or Ghost, was the worst one. When I bought Ghost, I hated it because they did so much shit, fucked everything up.
You know, I thought I was the only one who thought that too. I thought Ghost was bad.
Ghost was bad when you first bought it. Okay, when I first bought Ghost, and that was I think for the Xbox, maybe PS3. I played the shit out of that. Me and my clan was the NWU, the New World Order unit. And we had a shit ton of fun combined into one. And when we played it, it was like Jeezy Pete's, man. It's like these missions were like freaking like everybody loved camping, and it was all nothing but camping.
That's like, all those games are.
No, not Modern Warfare though. Modern Warfare's got some ones you cannot camp, like Shipment.
Oh, they still try. They try,
but they fail. They fail like hell. But Ghost was the worst one for camping, though. I never played Infinite Warfare because I heard that game was shit.
Oh my god, you
from what I understood,
you don't even know.
See, my woman and I had a discussion about Mario Kart the other day, and she says she could beat me. Now, if I have to go out and buy me an NES just to prove my point, I will go out there and prove my point on that.
All right,
see, I love Mario Kart.
If she's not tuned in, if she's not tuning right now, pick Toad.
Screw that Toad. But no, I love playing that kind of game, man. That game was fun with the NES back in the day. That was probably one of the funnest games besides all the Marios and Super Marios. Like all the Marios were fun too.
Yeah.
And you know, when they came with that Mario Kart, man, I was always on the roll with that. I was like, man, you can't touch me, man. Get that little banana and let you spin out. Yeah, you done. That or that shell. You gotta watch out for the shell though.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you
That
one
was a
thing that was just recently remade, and I heard there was transactions with it. I haven't seen them yet, and that's the
Bandit.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered. I
Oh
have
yeah,
that.
I heard. Yeah, I heard. I've
Now,
heard that.
I will say, I played the hell out of it. I've already beaten both of them. I got all the stats. I got all the challenges done. Everything. I love it. You know, they did a bang up job with remastering Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's
Well, yeah, that game was pretty popular back on PlayStation 1.
what's the best controller? Oh, we'll get to that right there. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Tony Hawk's
yeah, I mean-
Remastered, it has so much content to it. You have Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and that's, you know, each game, you know, all the levels from both games. That's like a total of 18 or 19 levels right there, you know, between the two. And you have all the original skaters from Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and then you got a slew of new ones, which I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't even play as any of them. Now, I know somebody that asked me, I think you asked me, you were like, is Bam Margera in it? No, Bam Margera.
No, I didn't say. I said Spider-Man.
Well, there was Spider-Man, but I think you also asked me about no, I'm sorry. Somebody else that I know asked me if Bam Margera was in it. And I was like, no,
I thought he was in the BMX.
he came in around, I think it was 3 or Underground. It was one of those where he came in under. When Jackass was big and Bam Margera was like, you know, big on the scene with MTV and all, so that's when he came in around there. But this game has all these maps, all these characters, and then you got create a skater. You got the create a skater. You can create your own skater. Create a park, which is it's pretty big. There's a lot of things you could do with create a park, especially with the way you can edit different ramps and shit. And I'm not just talking about placing ramps in certain areas and different angles. You can actually change the size, the shape, the warping of the ramps. Like you can take your basic half pipe ramp and you can stretch it out. You can curve it inward. You can curve it outward. It's insane. You could do a lot with the Create a Parks section of the game. And then comes... Now, you do have a progression system in the game. So for every challenge that you do, even when completing the game, you earn points. You earn currency and credits. So your progression meter goes up. I'm level 47 right now. But you also earn in-game currency, and you can use that to go to the in-game store, and you can buy different clothing for your characters. You can buy different components for the skateboards, like the surface of the skateboard, the bottom art, the wheel color, the wheel art, different stuff like that, shoes. And the prices are pretty cheap. You figure you could buy some shirts for like $100 in there. Same thing with other components. And of course, as you rank up, you'll unlock more items to open up. Especially now, here's a little bullshit part with me when it comes to the store. Now, the Create a Park section, you don't have all the components unlocked. You have to buy certain components to use in that mode. But but certain components, they're pretty cheap in game. So if you have enough in-game currency to buy all the components for the Create a Skate Park section, you're good. Now, I didn't see a section where you can buy certain packs for the currency and all, but they did say, like, I don't know if it's going to come soon or if that's just a grind. Like, you're just going to be grinding the hell out of that game to make in-game currency to unlock everything. And I do feel like, to me, that's the best part of it. Like, do I need to pay out an extra $40, $50 just to unlock everything in the game? No. If I can grind the game, earn currency to unlock certain things that I want, I'm getting my money's worth out of it. So this game, even though it has that concept in a sense, it still makes sense because older games did that too. If you bought an older game, let's say Tony Hawk 2 back in the day had that concept, and it was on PS1, N64, Dreamcast, PC, and you didn't have no online capability to it. That's what you had. You had to grind the game, earn points just to unlock certain things. And that's what I like about that, as opposed to certain games where they want you to use microtransactions to purchase certain in-game items, because that's where the companies make a little bit more profit off of the game. So you're not just selling a game for $60. You have microtransactions that's help keeps the game alive and kicking. Now, if you got a game straight like, let's say, Resident Evil 3 remake that just came out, it's got mixed reviews. Some people like it, some people hate it. I love the hell out of it. I played that motherfucker like 5 times, beat it 5 times. Now,
Yeah, one of them one time's under a minute too. That was pretty insane.
So I'm like, you know, there's never going to be any more content for this. So, you know, games like that.
Well, actually, there is. There's going to be now Resident Evil 4 remake coming out soon.
Well, yeah, if they decide to actually do that, because that's still up in the air for them. Honestly, I don't even care to buy a PS5 now that I have a good PC. I'm not going to get a next-gen console unless I really want it and if I can afford it and all. Like, my PC can keep up with modern-day games right now.
I heard a lot of bad things already about that PS5.
We haven't even begun on that, man. Like, oh my God. So, before we move on to that, because we're going to talk about the next gen, we're going to talk about controllers for Lycan, but I also want to talk about a couple more games that I got too. And
yeah, I was in GameStop a while back, and I went to go grab something to eat actually, and I talked in there. Well, before I got yelled at for a mask, I stick my shirt up. But I asked him, I was like, "Well, have you heard anything about Diablo 4?" He's like, "Well, yeah, we've heard something about October 24th about something Diablo 4." Now, I'm not sure if that's official, but that's what they were telling me about sometime in October. That they're saying something about October, either because they already have Cold War already released. So something about Diablo 4 in October of this month.
Let's see. That was June 2nd. Let me see what's July 4th. This is going back a couple months. Blizzard shares bad news about Diablo 4's release date. All right, let me mute this here.
Yeah, I heard something about.
Blizzard has some bad news about the release date. When Blizzard announced the game last year, many assumed it was the game's release wasn't very far away. However, at the time, Blizzard did note it wasn't talking about the game's release, given that it was still a way off. But let's see. That said, not only is it a safe bet to say the game isn't releasing in 2020, but it doesn't even look like a 2021 is on the table. Wow. So possibly the game could be out by 2022 or 2023. Wow. Now, the game...
Now, see, if they're waiting that long, what's going to be in it, though?
Well, they could be putting a lot of stuff in. And when it comes to Blizzard... when it comes to game developers, as good as they are, like they develop World of Warcraft and shit. Anytime they put a World of Warcraft expansion out, it's gold. So anything that Blizzard does is usually pretty gold, and they put a lot of detail, they put a lot of hard work into their content. Now, it is in development for PS4, Xbox One, and PC at the moment. But at the moment of publishing, there has been no word on the Nintendo Switch or next-gen ports. However, it sounds like the game isn't releasing anytime soon. But it is safe to say that it could possibly end up on a PS5 or the Xbox Series X. So, if you're releasing a game for the next-gen console within the next couple years, by then... it's possible that this current gen could be almost obsolete. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be obsolete. Like with Xbox, Phil Spencer and team said that the Xbox Series is going to last for another 10 years. So if you still own a One X or a One S, you're still going to be able to play games on that. They want you to if you're not ready to move on to next gen, they're comfortable with that. They want you to be comfortable with that. They say you can continue playing on your current gen system, and then when you're ready, you can slowly make the move and upgrade to the next gen if you want. So Microsoft is still working on current gen and next gen, so that's what they're going to be doing, even though they just ended production on the One S's, and I think the One X's too. They ended production on those just so they can work on the next console, and I think Sony's doing the same thing now.
I mean, nobody's not going to give up PS4 right away.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. So one more game I do want to say I just recently got, and it's a fucking challenging one. I just bought Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yes, I had a friend of mine that lives in Canada that actually plays it, and she actually did pretty fucking good on it. I was like, oh, wow. I said, which one is this? Is this the new one that just came out? She's like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was on her live Twitch stream and watching her play, I was like, oh, wow, this game, good graphics and everything.
It's been like 20 years since a Crash Bandicoot game. Well,
yeah.
It's been about, you figure, okay. After Crash
Bandicoot
3,
ended at Crash Bandicoot ended in 2000.
No, correct. They've had Crash Bandicoot games come out after 2000. They had there were several that have come out under Activision, but they weren't good. They weren't that great. That's when it took a hiatus, and they made maybe 3 or 4 more Crash games for Xbox, PS2. I think a couple of them came out on GameCube, and then I don't think one came out on the 360, but it pretty much bit the dust before 360 and PS3 came. And then about 3-4 years ago, they came out with the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is the original 3 games, and they put them all together, and people loved it. It was amazing the work that they did that went into remastering and remaking the games. And it was still just as challenging. And of course, people were, wetting their pants and oh my God, it's too hard. I can't do this anymore. It's too fucking. Well, you play games like Dark Souls and fucking what are the other Bloodborne. You play games like
Bloodborne's a pain in the ass, man. That's a game. That's a pain in the ass, right?
If you can play a game like Bloodborne and beat it, but you're having issues with Crash Bandicoot, you're a fucking pussy. You are a
hang the shit up.
Oh my God. I know people will be like, oh, you just hate. And I'm like, I'm not hating. If you can fucking sit there and play Dark Souls and beat all those games as challenging as they can be, but you cry over Crash Bandicoot, you're a fucking pussy. Go back to the days of NES and play Ghosts and Goblins, Silver Surfer, Ninja Gaiden. Play those games and then come back to me and complain to me about challenging, oh my God.
Legends of Gauntlet was a good one on the N64.
Oh my God, we grew up on that shit. I never got to experience playing Ninja Gaiden until my later years, but I did have a game when I was 5 years old, Snake Rattle and Roll on NES, and that was from Rareware. Rareware does Donkey Kong, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, all them. Snake Rattle and Roll.
Fun. Perfect Dark, and GoldenEye were fun shit.
But Snake Rattle and Roll was the biggest pile of horse shit that you could ever play. I beat it once when I got Rare Replay on Xbox, and they have these in-game mods where if you fail or miss a spot, you can actually rewind back to your current spot. It's like in-game cheats. That was the only way I was able to beat it, because when I played it on console, when I played it on NES, that was one hard son of a bitch to beat. It was one hard.
Remember the what was that old site? GameWinners.com. You don't even have that site up no more. They took that shit down.
Oh, hold on.
No, they closed that shit back in I forgot how long.
Oh, they did. 2017. Okay. Damn. Yeah. I ain't visited that.
It's been 3 years since they shut that shit down.
Damn.
I was like, damn, now I can't go cheat no more.
GameFAQs.com is still up. I use that.
GameFAQs.com. I'll have to check that one.
Yeah, I'll
I never
send.
checked
Let
that.
me send that to you in a message because I use that all the time now. Well, GameFAQs has been around for about as long as Game Winners has.
Oh yeah, but Game Winners was accurate though.
They were both about the same. Now, actually, I wouldn't say they were accurate because there was some cheats I got off of there that never worked.
Hey, look, when it came to Mortal Kombat, you trying to beat Mortal Kombat 2 from the beginning, that shit was hard.
Oh, I bet. Let's see, Game Winners
I mean, remember the days of the old Genesis and stuff? You had to like freaking do A, B, or even Duke Nukem on the keyboard and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first game cheats to ever come out, the first company to ever do game cheats was Konami with their Konami code AABB, up, down, left, right, select, start.
Yeah, I mean, then you had to go to the comic book store to go get Mortal Kombat cards to find out how to do the finisher. Remember that shit?
Oh, God. Like, so many of those fighting games had, like, hundreds of moves, and you couldn't even fucking remember. Like, they don't even have all the moves because usually games like that, they would have a booklet that would have all the game moves in it.
And you had to go buy a cheat code book. You're like, oh, I ain't using this shit. Even with even I think a little bit on GTA, you have to do that a little bit. But I think I don't know. I don't think I remember somebody that did.
Yeah.
And now Mortal Kombat 11, you got to for the crypt. The crypt was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You gotta go do kill this person this many times and that person that many times. I'm like, I got sick tired of that shit. I was like, I'm in a character.
Well, games like that,
I'll pay
God,
$5 for a character.
Like back in the day, like even today, well, they don't even make game guides to this day, but you would end up getting the game, and then you would end up getting the game guide. And
oh no, now you got to go on Google now. That's what they want you. They want you to go on Google and look up WikiLink or Wikipedia.
Because I used to get the guides, and I used to get the magazines too. Like back in the day, okay, well, like let's say Castlevania 2 came out on NES, and one of the very first issues, I think it was the very first issue. No, it wasn't the very first issue of it, but one of the issues of Nintendo Power came out, and it gave you tips and tricks in there. Like, okay, you're 5 or 6 years old playing Castlevania 2, and you get to a point in the game where you don't know what the hell to do. You're stuck. There's no other fucking door to exit. There's nowhere to go down. There's nowhere to go up. Who would have thought that you needed some kind of special pendant and then go up against a fucking wall, kneel down, and wait for some tornado to come pick you up? Like, who the fuck's gonna know that?
Shit. But listen. So I actually got Castlevania. I think the first ones, the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it for the first time on freaking PS4. You talk about how hard that shit is on a PS4 controller. I'm like, God damn, what the hell are you supposed to freaking do? You're supposed to, you got to figure out the keys and all this. Now, there was a game that I used to play on Nintendo called Dodgeball. And it's by, I think, Nakomi. And that game's pretty fun. I mean, I already beat it like 5 times in a row. But I used to be the Russians and all that shit. It was fun. Just young characters and shit. That shit's fun. But talk about Castlevania. I mean, yeah, there's so many versions of Castlevania. It's unflipping rare. You're like, can you just all stick with the original?
Well, it depends on the story. Like the story evolves, the gameplay evolves, and all. Like Castlevania 1 and 3 were straightforward, and Castlevania 2 had RPG elements in it where you go into towns and talk to people and shit like that. It was like a side-scrolling version of Zelda, basically. That's all it was. And then you get to let's see, the Super Nintendo version was straightforward too. And then you had PlayStation that has Symphony of the Night. The thing that I hate about Symphony of the Night, and I know it's a really good Castlevania entry, but what I hate about it is the fucking load screens. Oh my god, like you put the game in and it takes forever to get to the menu to select a game. And and then you get into the game. You do the first part of it. You get through everything. Now, if you die, it takes you to a game over screen that you can't skip, and it sits there taunting you for like 5-10 seconds and slowly melts away. Then it's got to play all the beginning intro videos again. So you're waiting like 3 to 4 minutes to get back to the menu to either load your game or start a new game. And then even loading in between, I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even play that game. Like I want to, and I know it's one of the best in the entire franchise, but when it comes to the loading screens, like it's bad enough I deal with that shit like with Fallout or Elder Scrolls or other games like that have long loading screens. Like if there's a game that I want to play and I know it's really good and I want to really get into playing it, but I know there's a long loading time to it, and I'm like, do I really want to sit here for 5 minutes waiting for a game to fucking load just to fucking play it? That's like, okay, I hate to knock on Metal Gear Solid because I love the first game. The first game, the first game is Metal Gear on NES. I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid, the OG on PlayStation. That one was phenomenal. It had a really good story. I was actually playing through it again for the third time, and I'm toward the end. I just got to beat it again. But those entries, like 1, 2, and 3, were good. When you get to 4, which was something of the Patriots, I think, or Patriots, it was on PS3. I played it, and even though the gameplay was pretty good and I enjoyed it, what I didn't enjoy is, there's certain chapters in the game. I don't know how many chapters there are in the game, but you go through chapter sections. Let's say chapter 1, you have maybe about 20 minutes of cutscenes. 20 minutes of cutscenes. You can either sit there and watch for the story, or you can skip and get right to the gameplay. 20 minutes of cutscenes, and maybe 5 or 10 minutes of gameplay. And then you get to the end of the chapter. Now, for me, I don't know if it did it for anybody else. For me, it had to literally install the second chapter in order for me to continue on. I'm like, you're on a Blu-ray disc. Like, I understand that this game is pretty big. If it's too big, they should have gave you like a dual Blu-ray combo, dual Blu-ray disc combo. Like disc 1, disc 2.
Like they did in Command.
Yeah, they should have did something like that. But why am I playing a game where I get to the end of chapter 1 and it says, okay, load up chapter 2. Oops, you have to install chapter 2. So I'm literally sitting there for 10-15 minutes while it's installing chapter 2 to my hard drive. And I'm sitting there bored as fuck. I'm looking for something else to do. I'm like, this is insane. I played through 3 chapters of this game. Never more. I was fucking done. Like, the game was good, but I'm like I said,
why wait 50 fucking minutes just for a damn
exactly
lady?
Let's see, let's say the entire game is probably made up about 80 to 85% cutscene. Well, let's put it in a pie chart. 80% of cutscenes. 80% of the game is cutscenes. About 15% is gameplay, and 5% is installation process. It's the installation process. Why would I want to play a game like that? I understand it if it's good. That's cool. Let me play it, but I shouldn't complain too much about the cutscenes, because usually those games are for the story, and the stories are usually pretty good. But when you're going in between chapters and you have to install content as you're playing the game, that's what kills it for me right there. Like, that's the only game that I know that does that. And I'm just like, never again for that kind of game.
Well, the thing about it is, like, if you're gonna buy a game, I mean, I'd rather play a lot more gameplay than hear the freaking like on Mafia City again. I'm gonna go back to that game for a second. Mafia City, you gotta go through all the intro. Hey boss, hey boss, hey boss, hey boss, hey boss.
Oh my god.
Man, shut the fuck up and let me just play. Damn, I don't already know what the fuck I'm doing. And it's like, hot damn, they tell you that it's like, okay, us fucking people that want to have a second account do not give a flying fuck about this little thing that doesn't even fucking move. It just has little transcripts and like, we already know what the hell we're fucking doing, man. I was like, just let's play, just shut up. But the thing about it is like, it's the thing that drives me nuts is when you get all these introductions. It's like it's the first 10 minutes. You're like, man, just get me to the damn gameplay.
Mhm.
It's like that's the reason why I bought the damn game, so I could play instead of listening to all this hickory dickory bullshit, which I already know the controls of a game. But the way you're gonna learn is if you don't know what the fucking controls are, learn the hard way. That's how you fucking win.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny though because I'm that way. Like if I know I'm getting my ass, I do easy. I'll go through it the first time easy. And I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna really learn this shit, I got up my level up to like medium or up to difficulty up to medium or whatever. And then that's how I play. I was like, I get my ass kicked a couple times. Okay, great, got my ass kicked a couple times. But you know what? I will get the last laugh. Dead for sure on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm honestly like on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Oh yeah, I'll get my ass kicked a couple times, but you know what? It's because it ain't me. It's because of my fucking teammates. I don't know how to fucking do what they're supposed to do. You're like, God damn it. Then you're like getting frustrated. You pay $60 for playing multiplayer, and you're like getting frustrated. Like, well, it's not me. It's the fucking teammates.
Yep.
You go one way, the opposite direction, which you're supposed to if you're doing like Modern Warfare. You go the opposite direction because, of course, the one team's going to go the freaking one way, of course. But if you want to get it from behind, you got to go the opposite direction instead of going head on. It's retarded. It's like, geez, he fucking Pete.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, like that. But it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But these Pete, man, introductions are just annoying as piss sometimes. You're like, want to pull your fucking hair out.
Yeah, I know. They last for about 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes at least, and they're like, okay, you can go play your game now. It's like, oh gee, am I awake yet?
That's like going back to Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. There's a couple other games that are like that in a sense where, okay, there's a part in the game where you're out killing enemies and all, and it gets to the point where it's like, what a terrible night for a curse or something like that. Like the gameplay just stops, and this box pops up that says, what a terrible night for a curse. And then the screen fades to black, and then it comes back, and you can take control of the character. So there's a total of, it's about 10-15 seconds with the transition, and it just stops you in the middle of nothing. I had a couple of games that were like that. Like, games that do that shit, I'm like, what are the developers thinking when they implement something like that into a game? Where it's like, oh, we got some important details to you. Like, okay, it's about to transition into night. Let's do this, and then let's do that. There was another game that was kind of like that, in a sense, but not too much. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on NES. I played it a couple times. It's horrendous, but there's a way to beat it. There's a way to get through it. You're walking from left to right, which is typical in a side-scrolling game. And you come across enemies and shit, and you take too much damage or whatever, you get so far, and then something happens. You end up turning into Mr. Hyde, and then you're going complete reverse, and you got a couple of weapons that you collected. You got to build your meter back up in order to turn back into Jekyll, and then continue going on the other way. I forgot how the story went with it. It's confusing, but that's how that game went. But there was another game that did that to me. I'm trying to remember what it was. I was actually playing it within the last 6-7 months, and I forgot what it was. I got a slew of fucking games.
It wouldn't be PUBG, would it? Because you played that.
Man, I've been having issues. I've been having issues left and right in PUBG. Like every time Bluehole puts out a patch for PUBG, something always goes wrong. Like recently, that's the
same thing with freaking Cryptic when they put shit on Star Trek Online. There's always a new bug, and we're all like, "Really, another bug? Huh? What a coincidence!"
Yeah, because they just updated PUBG. They redid the Sanhok map. They redid Sanhok. I don't know how long it's been since you've been on PUBG, but
I haven't been on there since last time my internet just decided to take a shit on.
There's a whole new map where they got explodable buildings and shit. It's a very small map, smaller than a Sanhok. They recently redid Sanhok. Now Season 9's getting ready to come out, and they're planning on putting a new map on there. So PUBG's going to have a total of 6 maps, and that's my big thing right there when it comes to Battle Royale between PUBG.
The damn fucking bugs first, and then worry about shit.
Well, here's the thing. Every time they fix a bug, they add a new bug, or a new bug arises. It always happens with that game. Like right now, if I were to get into a game with my uncle and my aunt, and that's who I always play with on there, and whenever it transitions from the title screen to the game, there's times where the party will break up and we'll end up connecting or something, or the game will freeze for like 10, 15 seconds and then come back in. There's always some kind of issue with it. Never happens on any other game. It just happens with that. It's a PUBG issue. You know, I still say games like that are still a work in progress.
Fortnite, PUBG, you know, Call of Duty, they're all going. Now, I will say about Modern Warfare, I have yet to detect a bug on that.
Yeah, true.
I've yet to detect a bug on Modern Warfare, and whoever the makers are, that are really doing a good job with that.
Well, I think you're gonna have.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, there's hackers," and there ain't no damn hackers unless you give them your damn account.
Well, it's not hackers; it's just cheaters. And here's the thing with Call of Duty: it's cross-platform play between console and PC. PC players will always have a way of tweaking their shit to where, you know, they can fucking 360 no scope you perfect, you know, with perfection. Because when it comes to keyboard and mouse, there's a lot more accuracy than there is with a controller. And
yeah, but here's another thing also about that stuff. Just get good.
Well, true, yeah.
I mean, instead of bitching about you already paid for the damn game, and what are you going to do? Throw it away? Unless you got a digital copy, then you can't do anything except delete it, and then you can reinstall it later on.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, either way, you're stuck with it.
That's like with certain games that are free, or some games that are given for free. I'll be like, yeah, thank God I have to pay shit for this, and just fucking delete it.
Yeah, microtransactions.
Yeah, I know.
When they say free, they mean microtransactions, please.
Well, that's always what it is, because the microtransactions is what funds the game. They can give the game out for free, but they expect people to play it because, okay, you want this, you want that. Okay, you're going to end up paying for this and paying for that, and all that money's going right back into the game. And, of course, when they get enough money built up and they got a big fan base for it, that's when they're like, okay, we got great news. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know, and then, of course, more people are pumping money more and more into it and shit. Like, my stepson, I don't even know how much money he put into Fortnite. Like, almost every 2 weeks or something like that is like $20 for fucking V-Bucks. Like,
yeah, I don't understand that stuff. Why the hell you need V-Bucks for?
Well, V-Bucks is the in-game currency. Like, they don't allow you to use your actual credit card in the game. You use your credit card to buy in-game currency. And the same thing with PUBG, same thing with some other games too. Like if they use, like, let's say PUBG has a G coin system, you can buy 100 G coins for 99 cents, 500 for $2.99, 1,000 for $5.99, and so forth. So rather than trying to use your credit card to buy X amount of points, you know, to buy certain things, they rather you take the safe way and just buy the in-game currency, and you can either buy it in-game in the in-game store itself, or you can go to the external store on the console or PC, and you can buy those clump of coins or those clump of V-Bucks for X amount of dollars, because I think $20 gets you 2,000 V-Bucks, I think, something like that. Same thing with PUBG, is like 2,000 G coins, and you just use those.
Have you ever watched those compilations where the kids borrow their mom's debit card to play for V-Bucks? That shit is hilarious.
Until
I've
mom
never
cuts them
seen a
off.
kid. Yeah, the mom says, "No, don't take back." I mean, I've watched the shit out of those. I used to watch the shit out of them things. I'm about to die laughing like,
I
dang.
know. It's sad to
And
say.
then it's even funnier when you get the angry girlfriend compilations and shit, right?
I've seen them.
Like the girlfriends, like they're playing. I've seen this one. It still to this day is the epic one yet. They were playing Call of Duty and the girlfriend loses.
And she's
Trash
screaming.
this stuff. Yep, screaming at the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's like,
He's just
What
sitting there
happened?
calm as shit. He's like,
yeah,
fuck
you're like,
you!
what the
Fuck
hell?
you! I can't even
You're
fucking
not getting
win!
sex for a fucking year. I'm like,
She walks over, unplugs the
Damn.
console, and she's like, you know what this is? You know what this fucking is? And then she throws it on the fucking ground, and she's like, fuck
yep, she breaks
you!
this shit, and the boyfriend's like, and she's like, you're not getting sex for a damn year. And I'm like, over a video game?
And she walks
Damn.
over, she walks around him and shit. She kicks the table, and he's just sitting there, like, in awe.
And he's
He's
just sitting there
stunned.
shaking his head, waving his arms up in the air, like,
No, on my end,
See?
he was just sitting there. He wasn't even moving. He was just sitting there like he was stunned.
he was sitting there at the first, but then he does raise his arms when she's doing all that shit. He's like, what the?
I know. She's like, it's just a game. Like, yes, it's just a fucking game.
This ain't a fucking game. You're a fucking cheater. Boom. I'm like, that Xbox at that time was about $500.
I seen one. Oh my god, I seen one on those videos. I forgot what game this guy was playing. It was on PC. He literally punched a hole through his monitor.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Like,
about.
he
The
just
guy
like,
doing the Guitar Hero
damn.
shit.
It fucking
The
went
Guitar Hero
through
shit?
the monitor.
Oh, did you see the one where there's a kid that's actually that bought a brand new monitor and he's playing this one game that's like Guitar Hero kind of a thing?
Oh, like
Did you
Dance
see the
Dance
kid's
Revolution,
ball
yeah.
behind that shit?
Yeah, he's got a
I'm
big ass
like-
hole in the wall.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck?
And then he hits
Is
the
this kid
fucking
insane?
he hits the
And then he
monitor
hits
with the
the fucking
keyboard and he's
monitor.
like, oh great.
The brand new monitor too. You're like, dude, you just paid $400 for that damn thing at least. You just put a bunch of hole in it. Like, gosh, damn. He's like, oh shit, man, I broke a monitor. Well, no shit, dipshit.
Mhm. Like
I love
YouTube
it
ain't
when
gonna
they
buy
break
you
it.
another one.
I love it. Yeah, I love it when they break the keyboards there because that shit's even a little more hilarious when they break the keyboards and shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're like trying to play the game. They're like, yeah, that ain't gonna work, Bo. Like you're going to Walmart to get a $20 one.
I like the one where the kid's over at his friend's house playing the game, and the friend's like, nah, you need to get off my game. It's my console. No, fuck you, man. I'll get off when I want. Like, no, you
Yeah.
spent too much time on it. No, fuck you. You spent too much time on it.
That ain't the one that was playing for 3 days or something though, wasn't it? Or for
I
24
forgot he was
hours?
playing, I think he was playing Call of Duty or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's usually Call of Duty.
or something. And he was yelling at the TV and shit. I thought that shit. It slams the controller. I'm like, that's a $60 controller.
Mm-hmm. Like, kids don't even
If I was
understand.
that friend,
Like,
I'd be like, motherfucker, where's my $60 at?
that's like me. Like, if my stepson did that, like he used to do that against Fortnite and shit and Call of Duty. I'd be like, hey, look, you break it, I ain't buying you another
You
one.
pay
So your fucking allowance is
you-
gonna pay for that shit.
All right.
You know, those
But the
controllers ain't
funny
fucking
thing-
cheap.
But the compilations of the girlfriends and boyfriends playing the games and the girlfriend gets pissed off. Oh, those are the funny ones as hell.
Oh man.
Those are the best ones.
Luckily
And
for me
then,
and Mel, like with me and Mel play, if she ends up getting frustrated, she'll just hand me the controller. Say, here, turn it off.
I'm waiting to play with my girl, on a game on here, see how she gets mad at me while playing these games. But I would love to see the reaction. We've already been talking how about that Modern Warfare.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah. I'll talk the shit. I could back it up. You just, a couple drinks in me, and I'll be ended up 38 and 25 or some shit like that. But I mean, if I'm playing like sober and all that shit, I mean, I'll do all right. I'll still get a 1.0 kill ratio and all that. But I don't know how I really am. But I mean, I'm pretty good when it comes to like Modern Warfare and stuff like that. Oh shit, Mike, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's going on? Oh, he must have went away for a second. All right, so while Mike's away, so we were talking about microtransactions and games and all. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about says, I'm not really pressed on time, but I want to go ahead and move on to the next part of the topic here. That Lycan's not here anymore, but he did come up with the topic for the next consoles, the next gen consoles. So anybody listening, so next gen consoles are almost here, and we're approaching rapidly for the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series game consoles. Now, my thing is with game consoles, it used to be back in the day where game consoles lasted a good long time. Like, they were still playable for so many years to come. Like, okay, everybody talks about how the first game console was the Atari 2600. Wrong. Do your research, because I've been doing my research for so many years when it comes to video games. The very first at-home game console was the Magnavox Odyssey. It was a work in progress, it was something. Magnavox Odyssey. It's a little box, kind of looks like a spaceship, and the game cartridges were just like these little cartridges that you see inside of a Nintendo card or whatever. And each cartridge was labeled number 1, number 2, 3, whatever. And to power the console on, you just put the cart in the slot and the game would turn on. And then you would have these two lines. Now, the games... Oh, he's on the phone. Oh, okay. Now, the games themselves, the console had two controllers plugged into it. It wasn't really plugged in, it was attached to it. So, it was a console that had two controllers, and they were these white boxes with these two knobs on the side. One controlled the vertical, one controlled the horizontal. And it was basically looks like a Pong console. Now, the concept with the console to make it, pretty fun, but I'm pretty sure it got boring after a while for many people back in the day. You had TV screen overlays for different games. Well, that went along with the different game cartridges. And you would put these plastic overlays on your TV for certain games, and you would play certain games with your family or whoever had the second controller and all. You had those, just like for the gambling games like Russian roulette or whatever, I think that's what the game was. You had the little spindle with the ball that you put in there and you spin it, stuff like that. That was the early days of Magnavox. But then come along, I forgot what his name was, the founder of Atari. Here comes 1978, here comes the Atari 2600. The first video game console to utilize 8-bit graphics, and it was the best console out there. Almost everybody had an Atari 2600. It was expensive back in the day. It had a slew of games, a lot of games that people enjoy playing on. You got that controller with the one stick and the one button. It was amazing. That was your at-home game console right there. It wasn't the very first game console built and put in the homes, but it was the second one, but it revolutionized video games from there on out. So that's what did that. And then, of course, other game consoles came along after that, more Atari consoles, ColecoVision and Television, and every other, Pong consoles. Pong was very big back in the early 80s. They made a whole slew of Pong consoles for, TVs, at home and all that. And then, of course, I'm just rambling on the history of video games to you guys leading up to now. Then you got the infamous video game crash of 1983 and 1984. And people are quick to blame one particular video game, which was E.T. for the Atari 2600. Now, granted, to a lot of people, it was kind of bad, but some people look at it today and it's like, you know what? It's not as bad as it may have seemed back then in 1983. It came out right after the movie released. I think it was like 82 or 83 when the game released. And people look at it today and it's like, it's not that bad. It's just challenging. And that's what video games are meant to do. They're meant to challenge you. They're meant to make you think. And that's what video games are best known for, to make you think, to make you accept the challenge and just go with it. That's all they do. So, because of games like that are rushed into production and they don't make their money back, let's say I forgot who produced the game. Let's say Activision produced the game. Let's say it was just Activision. And they produce 100,000 copies of the game. And not even 100,000 people buy the game. Not even 100,000 people own the game, let's say. So you've got unopened copies of a game still sitting on store shelves. And it wasn't just E.T. It was different games as well. It was like poor ports of Pac-Man. It was other games that came out. It was copies of games that went downhill that weren't being purchased. It's almost like there wasn't really a high demand for the games themselves. So, not too many people bought them. And then, you lost a lot of profit with those games. So Atari took a big hit with that, with the video game crash of 83, 84. They took a big hit. They lost a lot of profit, a lot of money off of making these games. So what happens? They file for bankruptcy around that time of thing. I forgot what it was. I don't think it was file for bankruptcy, but they were getting ready to go under, pretty much. And all those game cartridges that couldn't make the sale, couldn't make the hit, the rumors were true. It came out back in 2013 where a big group of people met somewhere out in New Mexico. I forgot what the exact place was. It was out in New Mexico. And it was a landfill. They dug up the landfill. And there was Atari cartridges in there. And some of them were E.T. So the rumors were true. They took all these cartridges. Instead of maybe recycling them, putting them to good use or whatever, they would end up burying these cartridges in the desert, and nobody knew they were there. And then, people speculated, and of course the rumors were true, but they buried a lot of that shit out there. Now, what saved the video game industry was Nintendo. Nintendo came into the gaming industry in 84, 85. Over in Japan, it was pretty big. They made the Famicom, and then they brought it over here in America, the Nintendo Entertainment System, made a bunch of games for it. Boom, Nintendo saved the video game industry. The video game industry crashed once. I mean, I'm not going to, I can't say it's going to crash again. It's possible. It's possible for a video game crash, depending on sales of games and all, the way gaming is evolving. It's possible there could be another crash. It ain't going to happen now. May not happen tomorrow. It could happen one day. It's already happened once. And it's because of poor production, poor sales, and a bunch of other stuff that caused it to crash. So we're looking at another possibility of it, because there are games that are getting poor reviews now and poor sales also. So it's possible there's another game crash going to come soon, especially since everybody wants to blame everything on COVID-19, which is, like I said, once again, it's a fucking myth. Get over it. So, Nintendo, since 85 all the way up till now, you had games, you had consoles, you had gaming companies like Nintendo, Sega, even Atari was still in it for a little while. Atari was still making consoles. And then, of course, in 93, 94, Nintendo wanted to partner up with Sony to make a CD-based Nintendo, but then, Nintendo backed out of that. They said, fuck you to Sony. Sony liked the idea. They had a concept for it, and Nintendo backed out. And so Sony was like, okay, well, fuck you. We'll get into the video game industry ourselves. We'll get into the competition. What came of that? 94, 95. Sony PlayStation. PlayStation came out, blew everybody out of the water. Sony PlayStation was fucking phenomenal. Whether you liked it or hated it, it's like the next fucking boy band. It's like fucking Nickelback, people love it, but some people that don't like it, but they can't get enough of it, And of course, Nintendo and Sony were going back and forth, Nintendo 64, then Sega came in with their last attempt, the Sega Dreamcast. Dreamcast, one of my favorite consoles right there. The Dreamcast has so much potential behind it. There's so much potential for this game console, and there could have been so much more to come out of it. But with PlayStation 2 right around the corner from that releasing, and of course poor sales with the Sega Dreamcast, especially one big issue where games can be easily pirated and played. So you could lose sales on games right there. You got a hot game that comes out, Sonic Adventure. Guess what? One person up the road gets a copy of the game, gets a stack of blank CDs, makes 50 copies, gives them to his friends around the neighborhood, maybe even sells them for profit. You know, that's what happened back then, you know, in those days. So game companies are losing profit off of games and all. But yeah, then Sony releases PlayStation 2, which is not only the next hottest game console, but the very first game console to implement a DVD drive. So you could play DVD movies on it. It was the cheaper alternative to buying an actual DVD player. And then of course, you know, Microsoft gets into the show. You know, Nintendo releases the GameCube, and then you got Microsoft that releases the Xbox, and then it all becomes one big battle right there. It's between Sony and Microsoft with the Xbox series, the PlayStation series. Nintendo's striving to keep up. You know, they released the Nintendo Wii, which is phenomenal, but it's still kind of like hiding right there in the shadows. It's like people care, but people don't care. You know, they released a Wii U like a few years later, which was it wasn't that great of a success, but it was something. All the while, you know, Microsoft and Sony are going at it. You know, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One. And now here we are with the current PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, and both upgraded, you know, to play games in 4K, play movies in 4K. It's supposed to be faster versions of their counterparts, you know. But in my case, mine just like tries to take a shit every now and then. So now you got the Xbox Series X coming out, and you got the PS5 Pro coming out. No, not PS5 Pro, PS5. I don't know. Well, I think there will be a PS5 Pro at some point. Now, recently they just had pre-orders up for grabs. About a week or two ago. It was the last couple weeks. People were able to pre-order both these consoles. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And it's not on Sony's part. It's not on Microsoft's part. It's on the consumer's part. It was on the Amazon. It was on Walmart, Best Buy, all of those. You know, they were supposed to put out an X amount. They're supposed to put out a certain limit of pre-orders for these consoles. Like, okay, come launch, you're not going to have consoles for every single person in the country or every single person in the world. They were supposed to put out, let's say, 300,000 pre-orders max for each console. And if they fill up that fast, then you just sold out 300,000 consoles. But here's the thing. They didn't put a max limit on it. So more than just 300,000 people were pre-ordering the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series console. So now you got a problem. You got people pre-ordering that aren't going to get their pre-orders. They're not going to get their consoles probably until January, February, maybe March. Because of, you know, Amazon, Walmart, all these distributors, because they failed to do their part to put some kind of limit on their website for it, and it became one big fucking mess. So now people, if you're able to pre-order a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, guess what? You may not get it on launch. It may not be shipped to your house on launch day. You may have to wait for it around tax time. I mean, it's already paid for, but that's when you have to end up waiting for it. And that's the saddest thing when it came to the pre-orders for it. You know, people are fighting over it like people, you know, like adults would fight over the next hottest Elmo that would come out in stores. Like back in the 90s, even the 2000s, people were fighting over the next Elmo, Tickle Me Elmo, Fuck Me Hard Elmo, Burn My House Down. Whatever Elmo came out that was hot that holiday season, every parent thought that their children needed that toy. They thought they needed that toy. So parents would rush out to get this toy, and of course they would be sold out. There'd be fights. Oh my God, there'd be fucking brawls happening on Black Friday sales. Like, Jesus Christ, like nothing else. I mean, we'll cover that next month. But these next consoles, will they be worth it? Will it be worth getting an Xbox Series console? Will it be worth getting a PlayStation 5? Now, the big difference with these consoles are, and both companies are taking it very seriously, in a sense, because they see where the consumers are going when it comes to gaming. Either their customers are all for physical gaming or digital gaming. So both sides are releasing two different versions of the consoles. You got a slimmer version and you got the original version. Take a look at the Xbox Series. You got the Series S, which is it looks like a mini fucking boombox, sort of, but it's about half the size of a PlayStation 4. Somebody actually measured it out. It's about roughly half the size of a PlayStation 4. That's how small that console is. And then, of course, the Xbox Series X is as big as a fucking wastebasket. You know, it's a big brick. But I measured that out too. So apparently with the Series X, it's got the same length as the One X, almost the same width as the One X, but it's thicker. So you could probably say you could take two Xbox One X's and stack them on top of each other, cut off a little access, and there you got the Series X. So it's not just a big console. It's still relatively small, but it's a bulky console. That's all it is. And that was a much more powerful console than the One X right now. And plus, it's supposed to be like supporting 120 frames per second gameplay, 8K resolution. By the way, 8K resolution is a myth. It doesn't even really exist. As Cypher had once explained to me, and it was also on the show too, on one of the podcasts we had. 8K vision, we can't see it. We can't even relatively see 4K. You know, no matter how picture perfect the screen is and all with movies, it's like in our eyes around us, we can't see that vision perfect. So 4K and 8K is just it's a myth. It's just something implemented to make us think we're seeing something crystal clear like that. Just to, you know, make it a money thing, you know, put more money out for it, you know. That's all that shit is. So it's going to support that, you know, and of course there's going to be no loading times for the games. So for any game you install, virtually no loading time. So they're finally eliminating loading times from games, but there's a catch to that. That's only to newer games. Now, with the Series X, here's what I love about what Microsoft is doing with their console. Every generation of Xbox games is going to be backwards compatible with this console. You're going to have 4 generations of Xbox compatible on this next one. OG Xbox, 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. All generations are going to be compatible from day one. That's what I love. Now, people out there complain, well, who wants to pay $500 for a console to play older games? Like, you complain, but there's people out there that do that. There's people out there that like to still play the older stuff. There are people out there who are into retro shit. That's what they like. Like, people don't understand that. They want to sit there and complain, oh, I don't want to play Call of Duty Black Ops on my Series X. Well, there's still people out there that do play it. There's still people out there that play Ninja Gaiden 2 that came out on Xbox 360. There's still people out there that play Panzer Dragoon that came out on the original Xbox. You know, there's still people that play that kind of stuff. Especially if you're going to upscale the graphics to either 1080p or 4K or 8K or whatever it is to make it look beautiful. People still love to play that. Like, for those kind of people that say shit like that, have you not seen a lot of the channels on YouTube that talk about those old school games and upscaling their graphics and all? Like, there's a lot of channels out there that do that, and I watch a lot of them, like Metal Jesus Rocks. He's one of the best ones. That I love watching him. I love watching his content. He's all about gaming and music. Now, another good thing about the Series X, any peripheral you have for the Xbox One right now, your controllers, even the Elite controllers, all going to be compatible with the Series system. So if you don't got $70, $80 to shell out for a controller for your Series X, no problem. The controllers you got right now for your One X will be compatible. That's amazing. So Microsoft is doing something good, not just with their software, but with their hardware as well. Now, what about their services? Oh my God. So starting next month, starting in November, they are adding EA Play, formerly known as EA Access, to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate right now is $14.99 a month. Now, you may say that's a lot of money. You may say that's a lot. But compared to Sony's end, Sony has PlayStation Plus. And I'll get to that in a second. Let me just mute this for a second here. Sorry about that. I don't think you guys want to hear me blow my nose. Sinus season starting. Weather's changing. Now, with Microsoft, with Xbox, you got the software that's backwards compatible. That's awesome. You got the hardware that's backwards compatible. That's even better. What makes this a super console? Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You get Xbox Live, of course, Games for Gold, which is originally included with Xbox Live, but it's Games for Gold. You get 4 free games a month. They're yours as long as you keep with the service. You get Xbox Game Pass, which is like the Netflix of gaming, but these games you can download on your console. Not just that. When it comes to Game Pass, you got 3 types of Game Pass. You got the Game Pass for the console. Like I said, you could download the games on your console. The same thing with PC. If you have your Microsoft account on your PC, you could download the Game Pass app on there. You could download the games on your PC for free. And they just added Game Pass to mobile, where you can stream the games over your 4G network or Wi-Fi connection on your mobile device. Now, you will need a controller, which the best part of this, and I mentioned it earlier in the show to Mike, if your phone is compatible with Bluetooth 5.0, you can connect your Xbox One controller via Bluetooth to your phone, and you can play Xbox games on your phone. You're going on the go with Xbox Game Pass. And they just added a shit ton of games. Over 100 games to Game Pass on your mobile device. Even one of them recently, Doom Eternal. Like, how awesome is it to play Doom Eternal on the go? That's fucking awesome. How about ESO, Elder Scrolls Online? You can play that on the go now. That is the fucking shit. So you got Xbox Live, Xbox Games for Gold, Game Pass for 3 different platforms, and coming soon, EA Play. EA Play is going to be added to the suite for no additional charge. You got 4 things for $14.99 a month. Do you guys understand how many games that is? That's a shit ton of games right there for $15 a month on Xbox. Come November, I think it's November 6th. Yeah, I think it's November 6th when EA Play is added to Game Pass Ultimate. You got a shit ton of games right there. You got the online feature. $15 a month, guys. Microsoft is doing something good with their services. So when the Series X comes out, the software, they got it Sony beat. The hardware, they have Sony beat. The services, they have Sony beat. And people want to say, Sony's beating Xbox. Xbox ain't got shit. Well, let's see what fucking Sony has, huh? So Sony's offering the same thing. A slimmer version, which, with no disk drive. And, it's going to be an all digital console. And then you got the console with the disk drive in it for physical gamers, physical copy gamers. Okay? So you got that. Now, is PS5 going to be backwards compatible? Only with certain PS4 games. Only a certain select of the library of PlayStation 4 games will be available day one on PS5. Not the entire library, only certain ones. Now, they said, it was rumored at the beginning that all generations of PlayStation is going to be backwards compatible with it. Nope. They came out and said, nope, that's completely wrong. So my argument with that is, how is it that Microsoft can do this, work this concept, and work it well, but Sony can't do the same thing? Even though Sony tries to do some of the same things that Microsoft's doing. But Sony still lags behind. Now, they fail on the software concept right there. Now, I'm not knocking PlayStation players, because I do play PlayStation myself. I'm a fan of both. I'm a fan of Sony. I'm a fan of Microsoft. So I'm in between, but I can express my opinions on both. So if I say PlayStation sucks, I mean that's my personal opinion, because I know they have pros and cons, and I know Sony's been making a lot of bad calls lately in the last few years. So software wise, when it comes to backwards compatibility, when it comes to the software and all, Sony doesn't have it. I mean, they got their exclusivity. They got their exclusives. God of War, Gran Turismo, the new Ratchet and Clank. I was watching gameplay for Ratchet and Clank. I'm like, oh, look, that looks very good on PS4, which is probably what they played it on, because it looks like it was played on PS4. Because it still has those. It still has those graphics. The components and all. The console may be more powerful than the PS4, but come on. They said the same thing about the Series system, but that we're going to get blown away with it. Now, even though, like, when you look back on Xbox Series and they showed the gameplay for Halo Infinite, and people were laughing about it. They're like, "Oh my god, it looks so good on 360." Here's the thing: they goofed up and played a earlier beta version of it, still in work in progress. So that's not like the finished product or close to the finished product. That's like before they even polished it. So it's an unpolished alpha form of Halo Infinite. And people just took it out of context. But people are fucking stupid when it comes to that shit. Now, hardware-wise for the PlayStation 5, I haven't really reviewed the specs on it yet. I figure we'll do a show sometime in the future before the consoles release where I'll talk about the specs of the consoles, versus each other. But as far as controllers go, I haven't heard anything about PS4 controllers being backwards compatible as like the Xbox One controllers are going to be backwards compatible with the Series system. So I haven't heard anything about it, but I know the controller. I looked at the controller and I'm just like, why does it look like an asshole? Not literally an asshole, but it looks like the asshole of controllers, It's like some asshole got drunk one night and said, hey, let's modify on this and make it look like this. Like, I know they're trying to go with a futuristic look. Like, if you look at the PlayStation 5, it looks very futuristic. Is there anybody? Sadly, no, Mike took a phone call. But if you look at the PS5, it just so real, it's so futuristic. It looks like a fucking... There was memes that came out at the time with when it came out. It looks like somebody took a PS2 Slim and slid it into a binder. That's what it looks like. It's like the worst. To me, it's like the worst concept, the visual concept I've ever seen. It's okay, you're here and you're listening, so it's all good. There's some people listening too, but. Here comes the service part. I don't know if Sony's going to evolve. Sorry, phlegm. I don't know if Sony's going to evolve their service plan. As far as I know, you still got PS Plus. which is the free games a month and the online playability service. And then you got PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is like Game Pass. Only with PlayStation Now, you can only download and play certain games. The rest of the games you can play streaming digital, kind of like Netflix, which still doesn't work in my opinion. It's still shitty. I don't even, because when they announced PS Now on PS4, and I signed up for the 7-day trial for that, streaming games over my network, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And for $15 a month, tacked on with my $10 a month PS Plus account, no, it wasn't worth it. So right there, that's like $25 a month you'll be paying out. Now, unless Sony decides to come out and say, okay, we're going to merge those two together to compete with Microsoft, that's fine and dandy, but what all are you going to offer? Just PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, a very shoddy service. So let's say Sony does merge those two together, okay? That's not a whole lot of software to work with. You know, that's still a very shitty service right there compared to what Xbox has with Game Pass Ultimate. I mean, come on. Game Pass Ultimate is going to have Xbox Live, Xbox Games for Gold, like I said, 4 free games a month, plus deals. You have Games for Gold deals sometimes. Like games will be on sale for 20% cheaper, 50% cheaper. They got some good deals going on. I mean, Sony does have good deals going on for their software as well. Don't get me wrong. Sony does do it, but I think Microsoft's deals are a lot better. Trust me. I just recently got The Division 2, which comes with the latest expansion. $26 under Games for Gold deals. $26 for The Division 2 comes with all the DLC and the Year 1, Year 2 pass. $26. You know how much that thing is full retail? $80. I got a $80 game with its DLC for $26. That is a fucking steal. And that's what I love about the Xbox deals when it comes to games. They're so reasonable. They're much reasonable with that. So with Game Pass Ultimate, you have those two. You got Game Pass, which is hundreds of games on a service that you can download to your console and play however long you want, play when you want, and then delete them off your console. Then you got Game Pass. I love you too, honey. Then you got Game Pass on PC, which is the same thing. You download the app, and you could download the games on your PC for free. Then you got the mobile app. I use the mobile app quite a bit. Old lady on the phone won't be back. Oh, okay, sorry to hear that. But yeah, you got the mobile app on your phone for Game Pass. And you can stream games on your phone. Now, they do play very fluently. It depends on your connection. The game plays on your 4G network or on a Wi-Fi network on your phone. They still play. Over 100 games on Game Pass. So far with Xbox, you got Xbox Live, Games for Gold, Game Pass over 3 different platforms. And come next month, for no additional charge, EA Play. Already I'm paying $30 a year for EA Play. Guess what? I ain't got to do that anymore because it's going to be added to Game Pass Ultimate. So I'm getting EA games. I'm getting Game Pass. I'm getting Games for Gold. All for $15 a month. Tell me that's not a steal. $15 a month. Microsoft has their shit in the bag. Oh shit, Dark's in here. I can't unmute you, man. You gotta unmute. Oh shit. You gotta unmute. I can't do it. Oh shit. I'm trying to figure out how to mute Dark here. Oh, there he is. Stop.
Hello?
There he is.
Hey, hold on a minute.
All right.
Why will... Oh, God damn it. Let me find my Bluetooth real quick. Oh, some bitch.
He comes to the party unprepared. But yeah, so like that's the differences between Xbox and PlayStation with the next gen. Software, hardware, and services. Xbox already has Sony beat in a sense. I mean, Sony may come back with the PlayStation 5. You know,
Sony's fucked.
Yes. Yes.
Microsoft... Oh, okay. Microsoft saw PS5 pre-order numbers. They're like, all right, fuck it. Buy Bethesda. Game over.
Yep, exactly.
Game over.
It's fucking game over. Like, I was just explaining the between the software, hardware, and the services. Like, when it comes to software, and not a lot of people care for retro gaming, but somebody like me, I do.
Honestly, the hardware specs are about the same. There's a couple differences, but for the most part, they're about the same.
Yeah.
I think one has like they all are running same brand damn near, but like I think Sony's running one piece that's a little bit better than what Microsoft has, but they're the same brand shit.
Yeah.
Software wise, what Xbox has going into its favor for this gen is literally every game backwards compatible. Does not matter the console it's from.
Yep, that's what they got going for them is the backwards compatibility.
Sony's like, oh well, some games will be, not everything that we have.
Yeah, and
like,
it's PS4
what?
too.
Yeah, and you're like, but that's why. Like, why would you not have this?
Exactly.
And then they're like, all right, well, here's our pre-order numbers, and then Microsoft is like, fuck you, we just bought Bethesda.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Literally the same day pre-orders go live, Microsoft is just getting blown out the water with pre-orders and shit. And then they go, fuck you, we just bought Bethesda. What are you going to do now?
Oh, they were pissed when they came out and did that.
Oh my god, I was fucking like, Microsoft, you dirty bitches, you did not just do this. Now, I will give Microsoft credit. They said for the upcoming year, 2021, they will launch all titles that Bethesda had in works for both consoles on both consoles.
Nice.
After that, it's up in the air. They haven't decided what's going on yet. So anything past 2021, Sony, you may not be getting. I hate to say it. You may not have access to these games anymore.
Looks like
it's gonna suck to be you guys, but
old Uncle Phil just stuck a slim in y'all's ass.
Literally, like that was the greatest fucking finesse that I have seen done this year. And I'm just like, Microsoft, because I'm like, okay, everyone's going to go, PS5 pre-order numbers are going to be through the roof like they always are for Sony, whatever. Okay, cool, whatever. And then Microsoft is just like, hey, we just bought Bethesda, and everyone's like, oh no. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, Microsoft has a lot of good gaming companies under their belt already, and they're making like really good titles, whether they're indie or AAA.
And did you see what Microsoft is doing next month?
EA Play. I was just talking about that.
Included in the fucking Xbox Live, the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate bundle.
Oh my god! 'Cause
I'm
was
just like,
yeah.
Microsoft, what are you doing? are you guys trying to fuck over Sony here? Like,
I'm just like, ooh, you just tickled my taint.
I know they're your competition, boys, but fuck, it's like Brian Owens doing money at this point. It's where's my money, man?
Yes.
And Microsoft is just beating the shit out of Sony. I'm not a fanboy. I have both consoles currently. Not a fanboy of either one. I play my Xbox more just because I have more games on it than I do
Same
my
here,
PlayStation. Yeah. You know. So don't take it as, oh, you're a fanboy. No, motherfucker. I'm not a fanboy of either. I've never been a fanboy of either. I've just always been more Microsoft dominant because I like the exclusive titles better.
Exactly. That's how I've been too. Like I've had every PlayStation and Xbox console since the beginning, and I played them all. It's just, when it comes to Xbox, it's just something about it. Not just the exclusives to it, but even certain third-party titles are better on Xbox. Plus, I like the controllers. I like the way the peripherals are on there.
I wish this is my one thing. I wish Sony could come out with a controller like the fucking Xbox controller.
I know. I don't even like, what the hell is that thing they just even really fucking just come out with on there?
I think they just said, let's throw something out there and see if people like it. And people liked it. And it's like, why would you like it?
That's like when PS3 came out and they were trying to introduce that boomerang controller. It's like, the fuck y'all doing, Sony? Like, there it is. There's the PS5 controller. I'm like, it just looks so uncomfortable.
Like, you doing crack again and not sharing with the rest of us?
It's on the Discord.
Oh dear God!
It's like it's bad enough the PS4 controller was uncomfortable as is.
So it looks like, okay. Now, in my opinion, I did not find the PS4 controller uncomfortable.
I guess it depends on how big some hands are. Like, big hands can't really cramp around.
Yeah, I have a decent sized fucking hand. I got a big hand. Don't get me wrong. To me, the PS4 controller is actually comfortable fit. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable fit. My Xbox controller is more comfortable to my hand grip than the PS4.
Yeah.
But I can play with the PS4 controller.
Yeah.
I could not play with the PS3 controller. It was a nightmare.
Oh, that thing was terrible.
It was way too small in my opinion.
It was. It was maybe it wasn't even as big as the PS2 controllers.
Now it looks like what Sony is doing with the PS5 controller is actually making it bigger.
It looks like
where it's gonna be about the size of an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Which I've been saying for years they need to make something that size anyways.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, I just wish they could do the thumbsticks the way Xbox does.
Yeah,
because it's what I'm used to. I play on the PS4 and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta adjust my thumbstick grip now because I'm not used to this anymore.
Like, I don't know if they're afraid of any kind of copyright infringement for like the design. Like, look at Nintendo. Nintendo did the same thing with their joypad for the Switch. It's become a staple. They did. Yeah, it's become a staple. So it's like, Sony, like, what do you got to be scared of? Like, that's the design that people have come to be more comfortable with. You got like the joysticks. If you spread the joysticks out, to where it's more comfortable with your group of gamers, you may get more of a little bit of audience, but there's a majority of people who enjoy the PlayStation controller over the Xbox controller. Yeah, my thing was, I mean, it was just a little pet peeve with the PS4 controller, like, you know, the stick placement. Like, you end up bumping into your finger or something, or bumping into your thumb, you know, when you're moving sticks, you know, then even though the controller itself, yeah, it can be comfortable to grip or hold. It's just certain little things for me, like, you know, the thumbstick placement, sometimes the shoulder buttons.
I don't have much of a gripe with the shoulder buttons. Mine is the thumbstick placement. I don't have much issue with the shoulder buttons or anything else. Like you said, thumbsticks.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to a certain grip from playing on Xbox, and then you switch over, you're like, fuck, I gotta try to readjust my grip to a comfortable grip and still use my thumbsticks.
Exactly. Like, many of us have been in battle on Battlefield and Call of Duty. You know, you're in that heat of the moment where you're trying to do these quick movements and you're bumping your thumbs into each other.
I refuse to acknowledge the number of firefights I've lost in Battlefield on PlayStation due to fucking thumbsticks.
Exactly. And that's why, like,
that.
And then that's why, like, okay, like Sony, I mean, that'd be one way to win over some gamers, is to go with a different concept. Like, I can see where you're trying to keep the same concept from the very beginning.
Hey, you're worried about a copyright, Sony. Okay,
yeah.
Fine. Move your right thumbstick up to where your buttons are, and bring your buttons down.
Exactly. Like, it's
because it's not. Could they get you for copyright? Maybe, maybe not. Fucking test it and see. Don't be bitches.
Exactly. Like, don't treat it like it's going to be like your PS3 Boomerang controller. Like, I don't think they would have lost people on that concept. Like, I remember when I saw it and I was like, yeah, I ain't getting that console. But then when the console came out and it had a completely different controller, I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to their other concept? Right. It's like they changed it the last second. Like, oh, people hate this. Oh God. So then,
no, like I said, I'm not gonna have a gripe with the controller. It's going to be, you know, how well am I going to be able to run it with the thumbstick setup and that?
Yeah.
But it looks like there might be enough space between them on this one.
It looks like they did space it out a little better, yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. Me personally, I'm not buying either console right on launch day.
Neither am
financial
I.
Reasons. Well, mine are financial reasons. Can I fucking speak English today, please? Mine is financial reasons. Don't get me wrong, price tags are great on both of them. You know, still $500 brand new. Everyone was worried, oh, they're gonna jump pricing. No, honestly, they aren't, because they know that they can keep it that price and not worry about losing sales.
Exactly.
It's a common price tag. My concern for this gen coming up is they're talking about jumping game pricing up.
Yep, $70.
Now, okay, that's fine. I don't know how many games I will be getting for the new shit because of it. I'll probably pick up games that I really want to play. Halo, New Gears of War.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Stuff like that. Maybe they'll change it last minute and keep it at the $60 price tag.
Yeah.
Don't know. They've been talking about for years now. You know, that was talk when Xbox One and PS4 came out. Oh, we're jumping price tag up to $70. Did it happen? No.
Nope.
So, you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes.
All right, now we already got a price tag on both consoles. For PlayStation, the PlayStation Slim, which is going to be $399. That's going to be the all digital version, and of course,
I was about to say the All digital is disc and digital is $4.99. All digital is $3.99 for PlayStation. Xbox for the Series X, it is $4.99. For the Series S, which is great,
$2.99.
don't get me wrong, but you can't run shit in 4K. They have already come out and said you cannot
Yep.
run 4K.
That
on
was the only
console.
downfall with that. They said no 4K for it. You got to figure with the slimmer versions, they're going to cut something out to cut price. You
Right.
know.
And honestly, $300 for non 4K, that's fine by me. I don't have a 4K TV anyways.
Exactly.
I'm not stressing over not being able to run shit in 4K.
Nope.
You know, I haven't stressed over it, you know, so far, and I have the Xbox One X, and do I get stressed out that I can't run my shit full quality? No.
No, as long as you can play the game, it's good.
Right. So $300 for something not being able to run 4K, but still has, you know, decent hardware in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually not bad. Good
It
job,
ain't.
Microsoft, for going, hey, fuck it. We'll drop the 4K and do this price tag for people.
Yep. Now, how do you feel about the Seagate memory slots, the SSD memory cards that they released? They're releasing for it. Seagate's doing it, and the price that I've seen recently, it could lower. I mean, if it had any kind of backlash, but right now the price for those cards is $220 for a 1 terabyte.
That's insane.
It
you
is.
can literally go out and buy an external hard drive, 1 terabyte, for $100.
But here's the other thing with
If
that.
that-
Now, they
Actually, no, correction. I can go buy an external 2 terabyte hard drive for $100.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to spend, you know, $230, $240 after taxes for a memory card for
Now,
1 terabyte? Are you guys high?
Now here's the
Quit
the
doing
plus,
heroin, guys.
Here's the plus and negative about the hard drives for the series system. So they did come out and say you can hook up a USB 3.0 external drive, no matter what size, to it, but you can only play previous gen games on it. You won't be able to install Series X games to it because the Series X games require the power that the console has in order to eliminate load times, fast frame rates, the 4K resolution in there. So for the newer games, you have to install those either on the console itself or on the external SSD stick. Now, SSD drives, they've only been out for the last 2 or 3 years or so. They're faster, much faster than a regular hard drive. You know, they read data a lot more faster. That's why they are more expensive right now in the market, especially when it comes to PC gaming and PC building. Now, this is the first, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first console to implement SSD drives in their consoles.
I thought Switch had it.
It might. I didn't read too much up on the specs on it, but it might. But for if you want to play like Xbox One games on your Series X, you're good to go. Just get yourself an external drive, like Dark said. You can buy. I bought a 6 terabyte external drive for about $150, and I got maybe about 200 games installed on there. And let's say I go out and I buy the Series X next month when it comes out. I have games on that hard drive. All I got to do is plug and play. Just plug it right in, and it should be able to read that data, and I can play those games right there on day one. Just like if I do decide to get any games for next gen, they're only going to be installed on the console.
I was wrong. It is micro SDHC cards for their storage.
Okay. But yeah, these.
Okay. Still, I mean that's not. Switch is one of the first ones to even implement using the micro SD cards, even for storage.
Yeah.
So, an SSD drive in a console is going to be interesting and new to use. Do I agree with the aspect of not being able to put your Series X games onto an external hard drive? No.
Mm-hmm.
They need to bring down the price tag of the SSD sticks. You know, not much. Drop like $70 off of it, because $150 for 2 terabytes of an SSD, that's fair. I've seen some SSDs go for about $180 for 2 terabytes. Still fair.
Well,
Over 200. Now you're getting a little greedy, guys.
well, I'm looking at, and this is confusing to me a little bit. I'm looking on Samsung's site. This is for SSD. They're solid state drives. This is an 870 QVO SATA 3 2.5 inch SSD 8 terabyte. 8 terabyte, $900. 2 terabyte, $670. And I don't know why they got the 1 terabyte marked first. Okay, let's see. All right, the 1 terabyte is $109.99, marked down from $130. So for 1 terabyte SSD is let's say $130 roughly, and a 2 terabyte, $250. They're still pretty expensive. Now over time, they will come down in price. I mean, that's how it was with let's say the external hard drives, USB 3.0. External drives were pretty expensive. Like at the time, maybe 10 years ago, 6 terabytes was like $300 or $400. Now you can go to Walmart and get a 6 terabyte for $100, $110. They're relatively cheap. And with
because as you go along, technology is innovative.
Yep.
It does not matter. Technology is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay, cool. This is the price tag now. Next year it may lower.
Yep.
2 years from now, it could get even lower. I still think 2 terabytes at $220 is a little pricey.
It is for console gaming, because you figure with all the components they put into the console, it's basically a supercomputer. If you put all those components into a PC case, you're going to run $2,000 to $2,500 on a PC. So a console has got to be built more consumer available, more customer friendly. Yeah,
consumer friendly.
So they got to make it a little bit more cheaper for the customers to be able to buy it. You're not buying a computer, you're buying a game console.
Buying a console.
Yeah. Even though consoles, they are computers in a sense, but it's not technically a computer. It's a gaming console. It's a console that you're playing games on and you're watching movies on and all. So you're getting the best of your money right there. You know, you're getting fast-paced gaming. You got 4K gaming, 120 frames per second. Imagine how the movies look. You got 4K movies playing on a digital console, or a console where you got to put the movies in. You know, it's a physical console. So you're getting your money's worth out of it. So $500 is not a bad price. Look at when the One X came out. The One X came out. That was $500.
Yeah.
Same thing with the PS4 Pro.
One was $500.
Yeah. So you're getting your money's worth, and then of course the price will come down over time.
It always does.
Even though Phil Spencer said you don't have to necessarily get it right away. Like, you can still play games on your One X or One S. You know, they're still going to support that for some time.
Yeah, they're looking at least another 3-4 years of support for the Xbox One X, One S. Mm-hmm. They said this is a family of gaming now.
Hey, take over a second. I'm going to step away for a minute.
Phil Spencer said this is now a family of gaming. They are going to keep this running for the foreseeable future. Now, eventually, yes, the One X, the One S will become obsolete. They will no longer support that. But that's still another probably 3 years down the road. Looking at the trend of history, we still got probably another 3 years of support for these consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't forget, with him saying it's a family of gaming, okay, cool, great, that's amazing. Now, when they make this obsolete and they go to roll out the next console, you may have that Series X or Series S, depending on your price point, to
Exactly.
go, okay, cool, I got this. Great, I'm not going to be left out. Oh, cool, next gen's coming out. Oh, it's still supported for that even? That's amazing.
Yep.
That's literally what Microsoft is going to do. And people don't realize it yet.
And I see that too. I see that trend happening too, because not a lot of people, okay, like it's not hard to find an Xbox 360 or an original Xbox, but those consoles, as old as they are, they degrade over time. It's not like an NES.
Oh my God.
Like NES.
No, it's not.
An NES 30 years later, 30 plus years later still runs, but an Xbox or Xbox 360, components go bad, drives go bad, and it's hard to find them. Now, people want, the main thing that people want is the software. And the software carries on. So Microsoft, with them continuing that trend, okay, every generation of Xbox is going to be available day one. People are going to be like, yes, I can go back and play Panzer Dragoon on PlayStation, or on Xbox One. I can go back and play Call of Duty Black Ops 1 on Xbox 360. I can go back and play Halo 4 or Halo 5, and I don't need those previous gen consoles because...
Hold on. Let's really go old here.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
Yes.
Star Wars Republic Commando. You got so many great titles from the original Xbox that are still going to be supported on the Series X and S. That is just...
Yep.
It's amazing.
And Microsoft is going down that route to bring those games to you. So, yeah, somebody out there, there's going to be one asshole out there that's like, who wants to pay $500 to play older games? Like, people love that. That's what people want to do. They want to relive those memories. Those are games that they enjoy playing.
You're not paying $500 to play older games still.
Exactly.
You're paying $500 to play new games that you haven't experienced yet, and your collection of older stuff comes over to it.
Exactly. So
you're not paying $500 to play old stuff. You're paying the $500 to play new stuff. Just your collection transports over, and you don't have to worry about it.
So you got Microsoft basically saving these games from time. You know.
Yes.
You got so many good games out there that are lost in time that people haven't experienced yet. So many great games. You know, I have, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Remember back when 360 first came out, Burger King got into the video game craze. They released like 3 games for Xbox. They played either for the OG or the 360. And it has something to do with the Burger King mascot. You had Big Bumpin'. Oh, yeah. Okay, Funko. Okay. You got Big Bumpin'. You got Sneak King. And I forgot what the other one was, but there was 3 Burger King games came in at around that time. And I have a physical copy of Sneak King. And I want to play that game again. And I'm going to be able to enjoy that again because Microsoft knows how to work their software. When it came out about 3-4 years ago, when they said Xbox 360 games were going to be backwards compatible on Xbox One. Now, I think it was day one when the Xbox One came out. They said they weren't going to be able to do it because of the technology. Sony said the same thing about PlayStation 4. They said that their hardware is meant for their current gen software. There's no way they could implement anything to play past gen titles. But Microsoft came out and said that they had an emulation code that they can implement in an update, which came out later that year, to where everybody can play Xbox 360 games. Now, it wasn't every title. They were gradually adding titles to the system, but the code was basically emulating the coding from the 360 games, and you could play them on the console. Now, emulation has been a big thing for well over 20 years. Started out on PC. I've been... dinner's done. Gotta eat. Oh, okay, man. But yeah, I've been emulating on PC for 20 plus years. I've been emulating NES games, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Even today, you can emulate old DOS games. People like going back to that older stuff and playing it because it's a lot of good memories. There's a lot of good titles out there that people still love to play. Like, I know some people that are stuck in the now phase where they're like, oh, I don't want to go back and play that. That game's from like 100 years ago. I'm like, well, those games are gems. People enjoy playing those games. I'm one of them. I mean, yeah, to each his own. I mean, if people don't enjoy, if they don't want to go back and play those older games, that's fine. But there's still people out there that enjoy the retro stuff, and that's what it's all about. But it's well, I don't want to say that's what it's all about. What it's really about, and Microsoft is doing it perfect, they're saving games from time. That's like going back and trying to save movies from time. Like, there's still, like, if you look out there, not every single movie is out on DVD or Blu-ray or even digital. There's movies out there that I haven't seen in years. It's hard to find them on DVD or Blu-ray because they haven't made that transfer over yet. But there'll be movies out there that are on VHS that you can find somewhere vaguely. You know, if you remember the title of the movie, maybe you can find it on YouTube. But stuff like that lost in time, they're treasures. It's stuff that you don't want to lose. You want to grip onto, you know, because it's fun times. It's fun memories. That's the same thing when it comes to games. Like with Microsoft saying all generations of Xbox is going to be backwards compatible with Xbox Series X day one. Microsoft is saving these games from being lost in time. And as Dark was saying, even when the next gen console comes out after that, you know, 5-6 years later down the road, hopefully Microsoft will do the same thing. You know, you try to preserve these games. And of course, you know, a lot of us have children who are getting into gaming right now. Of course, the two biggest games kids play today is Minecraft and Roblox, but they don't understand. They don't know the kind of things that we had growing up. I didn't have Roblox. I didn't have Minecraft. I had Super Mario Brothers. I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When I was 4 years old, my dad had an Atari 2600. I had Asteroids. I had Donkey Kong. I had Space Invaders. You know, timeless classics. That's the stuff that we played growing up. And I grew up through a time where I was already a little late in the game because I was so young. But as I got older, I learned more about video games and the consoles and the console wars. You know, it's like, why is there a new console every so often? You know, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, all these good consoles. You know, these are games that are lost in the past. That's why people have collected these games from the far reaches of the world, and then there's people that put the code of the games on a computer to where you can emulate the software and play it whenever to your heart's delight. On my PC, I have every single NES game, SNES, Genesis, Sega Master System, Game Boy. I got quite a few GameCube games, Dreamcast. I got all kind of shit on my computer. It's not the same as owning the console itself, but just to relive those memories, just to play those games, for me, it's a real treat, and I enjoy that. And that's what I love about Microsoft. They got it right. Sony, on the other hand, with your new console, only PlayStation 4 games are backwards compatible. Like, what are you doing, Sony? Microsoft is whipping your fucking ass with a steel switch right here. Like, I would love, what I would love. Okay, one of my favorite games on PlayStation was Twisted Metal. We haven't had a Twisted Metal game since 2010, 2011. There hasn't been a Twisted Metal title on PS4. So I would love to be able to play Twisted Metal on a PS5. If you don't want to if they can't make a new game, why not put the original stuff on there? Like, even with PS3, you could download certain PS1 games, certain PS2 games on there. So what's the big deal? Like, Microsoft can do it. All they did was just put out an emulation patch code, that's all it is. And then, of course, I'm pretty sure they implemented that hardware piece into their next console. But that's all you got to do, Sony. Like, what is you doing? Like, your marketing campaign is all wrong. The software, like, it's not laughingly bad. Like, I do enjoy games like Days Gone on PS4, God of War, Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank, all the exclusives. But Sony has made so many bad choices over the last few years. And they've been the laughing stock since the early days of PS3. Oh my god, like when the servers got hacked and shit. I just stood by and laughed because I didn't own a PS3 back then. Their hardware crashed harder than the Xbox 360's Red Ring of Death. Their services, were always getting hacked. It wasn't always protected, and Sony would never come out and give a straight answer to say what happened. Sony has been going downhill for years. Whether you love them or hate them, and I've played PlayStation for 20 plus years, but I'm more on the Microsoft because Microsoft knows what they're doing with their hardware, their software, and their services. They do it well. And yes, granted, there shouldn't even really be a video game war going on, console war going on, because you got it's just two consoles going at it. It's two companies going at it. The Switch is just sitting in the corner eating popcorn, laughing while people are enjoying Super Smash Brothers and Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. And the next Nintendo console is looming right around the corner because Nintendo don't know how to support a system after every 4 years or so. It's that bad. So that's my take. I'm glad Dark was able to make it in here, give his feedback on it. Mike, wherever you're at, man, I hope everything's going good on your end. It's good to have you on here earlier on in the show. But yeah, when it comes to the next gen, hopefully we'll see next month what happens, when it happens, and such. So anyway, guys, I've been live for 2.5 hours. I'm going to get out of here. I'm tired. I'm done rambling your all's ears off and all. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and watching the show and stuff. And if you're watching us on YouTube, Arrow Entertainment is our channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content. We will be live again either next Friday or next Saturday, depending on what's going on. I will let you guys know. If you guys are watching us on twitch.tv/arrowwithaname, be sure to follow us on there. And also, if you guys are watching me live on Facebook Live, I am so glad it actually is actually streaming on Facebook. I didn't think it was going to go. I don't think it was going to do it, but it is whatever. So next week, we'll return a little bit to some politics. We'll talk about this past week's debate and what's soon to follow. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about some gaming and stuff. So hopefully you guys will be here for that. Also, guys, be sure to follow us on Twitter at @ArrowWithAName. That is our new Twitter page. Be sure to follow us on there for updates in the future. Plus, if you follow me on Facebook, you can always get updates there as well. Hope to see you in future episodes, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. This is Mike C signing out. Mike, the other Mike, co-host, he's somewhere listening. Thanks for being on here, man. Thanks for coming on here, Dark. And until next week, guys, stay tuned in. We'll see you later.